What's up and welcome back to the channel. Today for you I've got the Magellan deck profile. I've been working on this deck for a while now and he looks like a baboon, but he looks pretty cool anyway. And his effect is when a Dawn on your field is returned to the Dawn deck, he gains 1000 power. It's once per turn, it's only during your turn, so not the greatest effect, but I've made this deck so that you get to utilize the effect constantly. So you're going to keep attack for 6, so it's not going to be terrible at all. But anyways, we're going to get started. And I think this deck is super cool and fun to play. And let's see what we got. Right into it. We've got 4 of Hannibal. Hannibal is your searcher of the deck. He's on play, look at 5 cards. He searches for an impel down type card other than himself. So this deck is filled with the impel down cards, so this is not going to whiff on you. Or it really won't. And first up, we impel down, we've got Domino, your 2-cost blocker. This has got a counter in its hand, so it's not bad for that, but it's just searchable by Hannibal, and it's a cheap blocker to just throw out really quickly. This deck can flood the field like crazy with all the character cards that I've made. Now this card here is the all-star of the deck, Little Sadie. Little Sadie is crazy because she on play gets to play a Jailer Beast type card from your hand, and all the Jailer Beasts that we have here are all 4 costs. So basically you get to play a 3 cost with a free 4 cost right afterwards. And that means that you're playing so much for very little Dawn. So it's definitely one of the best cards in the deck. And let me tell you now that the way you want to play this deck is these 2 are the most priority of the entire deck. If you open up and you don't see one of these 2 cards, I say you should just mulligan. I always look for these 2 when I play, and I think you should do too if you're playing with this build. So 4 of Little Sadie is a must. She's got a 2k counter, but nobody's going to use her 2k counter. We're going to play her for the really cool Jailer Beasts. The first Jailer Beast we got is the Mino Koala. It's a 4 cost, but it doesn't matter because we play her with Sadie, so he's kind of free. He's a blocker, and on KO, you get to add a Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So free additional Dawn. Because this deck likes to minus Dawn, so he's your one way to get back some Dawn. So 4 Mino Koalas, because they're going to be playable with Little Sadie. The other Jailer Beast that we have, this is the only available one, it's Minotaur. Minotaur is also cool, same thing, 4 cost. But this one on KO, same deal, he gives you a Dawn and rest it. But he has double attack, so he's different. So he puts pressure instantly when he's on the board because your opponent's going to be very scared of him or try to push hard to destroy him. But when they do, you get a Dawn, so you don't lose anyway. So let them try their Okikus and what have yous on against you. Next up, we have... I'm playing Ulti. She's there mostly for a 2k counter, but she also has an effect that on play Dawn -1, you get to play a page 1 with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. This will come up every once in a while because I am choosing to play 2 of page 1. Not bad stat at all. He's 4 cost, 6k power. You're never going to play him. You shouldn't. If you only see him and you don't see her, I say discard him for a counter to protect your leader or something, because you only want to use her for this. And Ulti, since she will do -1, she will be one of the first cards that's going to be boosting your leader for the effect. So it's not bad. You get to throw out 2 big bodies on board for just minus a Dawn. So 4 is going to summon you basically 8 Dawn worth of guys. Almost like Little Sadie and the Jailer Beast. So it's another way to play that. So 2 of her, Ulti, and 2 of page 1. Up next, we've got the Warden himself. It's Magellan. Magellan is on play. You get to Dawn -1, then your opponent gets -1 Dawn. So it's really good if it's the first card you play when you have 5 Dawn, because then your opponent isn't going to be getting the Dawn that they want according to the way they play, because they're used to having 2 every single turn. This guy's going to mess up their numbers for sure. And he will also survive for a very long time because he is literally poison. If he is KO'd, then your opponent returns 2 Dawns from their field to their Dawn deck. So if they don't have 10 already, they are not going to be hitting this guy. Or if they do, they're going to get punished severely. So he kind of gets to keep on attacking for at least 2 to 3 turns in a row without being stopped because they don't want to kill him. He's literally poison. And if they do, well, even better for you. Next up, I chose to play 2 of Douglas Bullet. This is Douglas Bullet Jr. He has on play Dawn -1. You get to rest up to one of your opponent's cards with a cost of 4 or less. That will come up quite often because there's so many cards that cost 4 or less. And the on-play effect is going to minus you a Dawn, so you get to proc your leader's effect again. You should be at 6,000. Same thing with the Magellan over here. So far everybody's giving you minus Dawns so that your leader can be at 6 and always attacking for 6. 2 of him. Next up, I chose to play 2 of X-Drake. He's there mainly for the 2k counter. I just had to squeeze in some extra cards to play more of 2k counters. And he has an on-play Don -1. Your opponent trashes a card from their hand. If your hand is so bad and it bricked so bad for whatever crazy reason, or he's the only thing you have to play, at least he does -1 Don so that your leader can still keep gaining attack for that. So 2 of this, what I fit. Next up, for every purple deck, a must-have is Queen. 4 Queens, because Queen is the blocker, one of the best blockers in the game. On play, Don -1, draw 2, trash 1. Super great effect. Every purple deck needs 4 of this card, no matter what. But in this deck, you get more bonus because it's -1 Don. Your leader gets 6,000 power again. So very good to have. Hand advantage and boost your leader for free. Next up, I chose to play 3 of the 6-drop Kings. King is on play -1. You KO a guy that's 4 cost or less. Very good effect. You'll be boosting your leader once again, and you get to get rid of a high costing blocker or something like that. So 3 is very good. I had chosen to play 4, but I took 1 out and I replaced it for the 7-drop King. The 7-drop King is not bad. He just does a little bit. He costs 1 more, and he'll -2 Don, so he'll KO one guy that's 3 or less and another guy that's 2 or less. So that'll come up. He's the surprise factor. He's very good against green decks and the red decks, especially red decks, because they play Sunnies and stuff like that. So he can be a good surprise factor, just knock out 2 weenie blockers or something like that. So 1 of him, so that we're not playing only the 6-drop King. That way your plays aren't too linear and your opponent isn't going to automatically predict you and know that you only have this. So they'll have to fear this too. Or it'll be a surprise. Up next, the card that I chose to play that I think is really good for the deck is the Film Uta card. This one is on play, Don -2. Your leader and your characters will gain 1,000 power until the start of the next turn. So for 2 whole turns, you're going to get 1,000 power onto your leader and everyone else on your board. And you're going to have other guys on board because by the time you have 8 Don, you already have some board presence. So she's just boosting them. So it's pretty crazy. And with Don -2 and your leader, you're giving him 1,000 for her effect and then 1,000 for his own effect. So it'll put him to 7. And then the following turn, he just sits at 6 because her effect is for 2 whole turns that it would last. So I chose her as a 1-up for one of your boss guys. Up next, the other last boss card that I chose to play is Douglas Bullets. I am playing Douglas Bullet because he's crazy strong. He is also from the film deck. I'm a bit biased because I love the film deck and I think Shanks is super cool. And I'm taking Douglas Bullet with me. And basically activate main, you Don -4 to rest 2 of your opponent's cards with a cost of 6 or less. So that's almost everybody. There's not going to be any blocker that'll stand against him except maybe a 7-drop kid. That's about it. And then he gets double attack. So with your double attack, it's almost guaranteed because he has 10k power. Your opponent isn't going to stop that unless they want to trash everything in their hand. So this is one of your guys that's going to be your win condition at the very end game. And Don -4 again, it's minus. Your leader will gain another 1,000 power. So not a bad 1-of. I chose to play just basically 2 boss cards in Douglas Bullet and Uta. And next, I'm going for the event cards. I play 3 Judgment of Hell. Judgment of Hell is really good in here because it's almost like a double block because it's 2 cost for 6,000 protection power. Because it gives, after minusing a Dawn, you give 2 of your opponent's leader or characters -3,000. So you're kind of stopping 2 attacks. Because how much Dawn can they really give to a guy? They're going to be really struggling to get past this card. And the trigger makes your opponent return a Dawn card if they got 6 or more. Sometimes that comes up. It's very situational, but it's there if you need it. So Judgment of Hell at 3. The last 3 cards I'm playing is the other event card, Thunder Bagua. This one is also 2 cost, but your leader or one of your cards will gain 4,000. Then if you have 2 or less life, you get a Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So this is one you save for the end. And it's good to get back Dawn because you're going minus constantly in this deck. So that additional Dawn will certainly help you and good for the following turn so you get to do more stuff with it. And the trigger is really nice. It's always very good to activate it early on. If you get the chance, you get a free Dawn card as active. Very, very good card. And next up, I'm gonna just spread out the cards evenly for you so you can see the ratio is much more clear. And here we go. Alright everyone, so this is the full deck profile here. Let me cover that glare for a second. That is King, and these are the Judgment of Hells over here on the right, and the Thunder Bagulas over here. In addition to the deck, some stuff are flexible, to be honest, and one of them might be Douglas Bullets. If you want to play instead of him, just play more X-Tricks for the 2k counter. That's about it. Besides that, cards to add might be a Rushing Kaido. I would say just one, not any more than that. Him, I would replace, if you don't like Uta or Douglas Bullet, I would say definitely one of these two can go for the Kaido. It's not a bad choice. I just think he's too costly at 9 because you're constantly going minus. You're not going to see 9 or 10 Dawn very often in the game. So I chose not to play him. And another card that I was looking at might be the ulti from the OPO1 set. This thing is on play. It's almost like Onigashima Island. She costs 2, you play her, then you rest a Dawn, and it gives you an extra Dawn for free. So not bad, but she has no counter, so maybe you don't want to play her. It's just something I thought of. And besides that, there's just Shiki. It's if you need more 2K counters, if you feel like you don't like the page 1 package or with ulti, you can take this out for him. Basically, that's the other thing I would possibly change from the deck. And that's a full deck profile. Thanks for watching. And now if you've made it to the end of the video, I've got a surprise for you. We've got a little giveaway we're going to do because we've just made 100 subscribers. So a big thank you to all of you. Thanks for watching us thus far. We're going to keep on giving you great content as much as we can. And the small giveaway is we're going to pick someone in the comment sections. You got to like, comment, and subscribe, whatever you want the comment to be. And we're going to randomly choose you. One card that we're going to give out is this actual alternate art Magellan that I have here. Will be given to one random person in the comments. So he's one of them. And then for another winner, we're going to give a couple random cards that we have here. This extra Odin that we had, it's a super rare, and a super rare ace, and a meteor volcano. So these 3 cards will go together, and then a Magellan for someone else. So very small giveaways, a small thanks at 100. We'll be having bigger giveaways at bigger number of subscribers. But thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you participate, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Peace.